I'm hunched over because it actually feels better to straighten full up because I've got stitches and I've got an incision to liberate my uterus, so it actually feels better if I hunch over so I don't stretch my stitches. That, and I also have swelling. I've got a swelly belly. I've got swelling, so. And, oh, what else? All right, so last night I was watching Matters of the Heart with Carl Jung, and I will be putting that video link on the website, richwrote.is, and things we were speaking of is creed, that you believe in a creed, it can block an experience. And you know, there's some irony there. He also talked about that some people need to believe in a creed because their framework is not strong enough. Strong enough for what? To exist utterly alone. So these are the things that I gathered from reviewing the video last night, and it's on the website because I saw it, and I'm shedding a review for seeing it. So the missing framework, that's one of them. The creed and the credit, where R-E-D, you're in the red financially. So I think the creed and the credit and the framework, it's all hyphenated. To get a ta, that's what you soak, and a law with Wade, W-H-E-Y-E-I-D. However, it's all with hyphens to the assay, which is to test the metal, that has hyphens, and ask stayed, hyphenated, and that's who you're asking as well. One of the things that I think is interesting about reviewing somewhat the biography of Carl Jung's life is there were two females in it. The one he was married to, and then the one that he had sexual relations with in the name of good analysis. I have fashioned, you can see what I'm doing here. The nail. So our laws exist because the missing framework is the miss, whose cast hyphenated toft hyphen pre hyphen sense hyphen doft. You haven't made love in follow through to the T, H, taste, haste, assay, ass stay, ass spade, ASS parentheses P, AYEID. So EID, that's your oath, and that's your Muslim festival. In Eve Evans, anatomical language, E is every yet thing. So every yet T, parentheses H, IN, that's your tin, your money, your hinge, your mouth. Call this a thing. And everything ID without hyphens. So to me, those were the things that I took out of watching that video on YouTube last night. I'll be putting more of my thoughts there, but what I think is interesting is what I've been saying all along, and also, which is interesting, Carl Jung has been saying, you think that you're here and you're formed. Creation has already been done. I think a couple of the interesting takeaways are, what are you doing? He's taking down the industrial satin down comforter. You big silly, and wrestling it. Hey, you're back. I know. I'm so boring. I can't wrestle with you. Yes, and if you want to be petted, you're gonna have to come to me. A couple of the interesting takeaways are, I found insightful, even analyzing at this point Jung's dreams of holding the infant in the wheat, and the wind made the wheat like waves, and after his wife died, he built an upper layer on his house, a tower, which I think is interesting. He carved pictures in stone. Experiencing some tension here with Minnow. You have conquered the down encased comforter, sweetie pie. You have conquered it. You stand over it. Yes, you have conquered. You came, you saw, you tugged, you chewed, you wrestled, you broke its virtual neck, and you won, and you're standing over it in some. Missing framework, it's not strong enough. That's why we have T hyphen, parentheses L hyphen, ta and law with way, wade doth, stupid, to two toft, rich, for no reason, thief end. So you could call Holmes your B hyphen itch. Okay, in all fairness, P, parentheses, put a hyphen in that, B hyphen. Now that's your plumb bum. A plumb line is hung vertically. So PB, itch, pitch and bitch, or then it becomes bitch and pitch. BP is baptism. You're using the same do. Okay. I know, Minnow, oh my goodness. I'm shedding. I felt a tickle. Mina wants to do something. I'm not really up to that speed right now. What else? I've got more notes here, so I'm going to try and get on with them. Trying to think of what else was interesting. Yeah, Young's wife knew that she couldn't do something for her husband. So the two women worked it out. So Tony Wolf was the one who was that approached Young, and I think she reasserted his theory. One of the things that I don't concur with is at the end, so I did snag quotes. One of them was about the reference to God being a man. I've already made a comment on that on Twitter. I think that's overworked a bit. Put your hyphens in that. What else? I think part of why I'm tired too is they did blood work before surgery. I'm actually anemic again. Not as severe as I was. They think that the fact that I'm not bleeding, that this is going to sort itself out. So, but I'm not taking iron because it's difficult to poop after anesthesia, and iron also constipates you. So it's just like, look, just trying not to feel like a whole brick right here. Let me get back to work. I need to turn the fan on. I'm kind of hot. And what else? Tired. I've been doing mostly the ibuprofen, but last night when I went to sleep, I started aching in places again, so I took the oxycodone. So I think I slept well, but I think I have to work that off also. I think that makes me tired. So I put the video on pause, and I'm gathering. Sharon demands to be the center of attention, and then I said, you know, you could go do that, but I'm going to go take a nap. You know, here's the thing: it applies to you as much to Kim Kardashian. You have no value without my low T, without my lot. You have no value. Honest, EVALUEWEAD, without my lot, LOT. Someone needs to be the framework. I'm representing do. D-E-W-E. What we have so far, it would seem, all men are frame and doffed with hyphens, and they're stupid. Unless we have someone who wants to bring the goods. T-H-E-G-O, parentheses O-D, S. The goods, the ego without hyphens, what I gather, when I'm done, the only thing that you stand to reason to bring me is love. Well, I've already illustrated, and I can continue to do so, and I have savor to do so. Many points to see a planet, which is a sphere that is flawless. You've not brought the goods. You've not cared to. You've not made love. You've not thought of, follow through, even do of. Even vent ahead, do of. EID. We can see, as with anyone, you do not desire able, LEAD, nor the bed, he ven vend. Rich can't get across without my lot. And Sharon, you can't provide that for him, is what it comes down to. I mean, we keep going over this. It's pretty obvious. So do you want me to go take a nap now, or, forever? There's a reversal of source that's going on here. With a missing framework that is hyphenated, Freeman Doft fills in what's amiss with his doftmanship, which would be doft, toft, and God. And they're all equally doft, to speak toft. to go odd, do a foot doft. What I'm illustrating, your value is fictional. It's a fiction nail. You never made love. It would seem you don't know how to think of. Now, what's very interesting, think of the dough handle. Dove, love. D-O-H-A-N-D, parentheses L-O-V-E, D. So I'm illustrating, obviously, the value of my framework, and in doing so, that your fiction nail. You never loved, and you don't know how to. You fill in the gaps with hyphens. Your law is speaking for EWE with hyphens, dudes. What else? You do not love, you do not care to, you have not carried to. The reversal is, this society, competing for no reason, thief end, views women as an accessory to your desires you've already supplied. And then men preserve, with hyphens, their right to cast judgment on women from every fiction, nail, angle, and hyphenated tangle, where the tang is your edge of the knife, and how you cut what is cute from your life or not, because you believe as men that you are the bow and the beauty, but it's hyphenated. That's being reversed. I can clearly see that men are the accessory to my girth and birth. So my gear and be the ear, earth, the head here, head Tao with where. This kind of thing is it shapes my relations even. I was at Whole Foods, and it was at the time when I bought the tea tree oil, etc. Was trying to make a scent to repel lice, and I discovered I didn't need the extra bottle of tea tree because I had a little bit here, so I was going to work with that. And then there was a guy at Whole Foods that was telling me that I couldn't, I could only get store credit, He was giving me a spiel. So I bought the Whole Foods brand, I took it back, and he's giving me a spiel telling me I could only get store credit, I can't get my money back. And you know what, I'm not feeling very well. And I basically told him, I don't care about his fucking rhetoric. I'm standing there at customer service, not exactly bitching in high pitch, but just flatly saying, I don't care about your fucking rhetoric. Just stop this shit, okay? Take this back. I do not feel well. And what you can do for me is give me what I want. That's all you're here for. Now that's the irony, because you men that are all frame and doff for no reason, thief end, preserve, with hyphens, the right to, because you're a fiction nail, and women give you the value because they think you are the framework, then you get to institute and constitute what you would like to see of them, which is your infantasy, your infant and your fantasy. Put some hyphens in that. You've got someone on one end of that scale, as an example, Kim Kardashian, that's using that. I'm flawless from every angle. Now, to me, she's using the archetype of mother I'd love to fuck, okay? But she's appealing to Doft, to Toft. That's how her money circulates. She can only stand Doft. The more she reveals herself, and let's understand, if you're going to keep stupid Doft's attention by the same hyphenated dough hand, what are you going to do except to become more revealing with your nakedness? That I would reveal myself to every Doft. Okay? So he feels comfortable in my womb, all right? So the predictability is, it's already matriculated. How she started to earn her money is her trajectory, okay? There's no more thought in that, and yet she can say, I'm really working it. Well, put some hyphens in that. That's what you're really working. And you're only working to part width and ID with Doft to Toft. That is the value of your money. Yet, the presumption is she's putting an image forth as a planet. Look the word up, APPLANET, as a flawless sphere without aberrations. Okay, notice she puts the light and the cam, and she takes her selfies, fideism, belief in yourself. She takes her selfies, not for you or me, for you. Okay, to do with as you please, lease, and ease. Doft, to speak tone through. Okay, so it's just this perverse, with hyphens, it's this perverse competition for no reason. It's just another tangle angle of competing for no reason, thief end. She's willing to engage Doft, okay? So is Trump, all right? I'm saying rather than being passive, they're willing to engage. Well, your engagement doesn't have any value, AD, to toss. But your dynamic is with hyphens, you can toss with hyphens and sought with hyphens, meaning that no one has an innocent identity that has been brought for you, but you're posing it as if, one, you screwed value to you, and that you would premise your approach by having the money, me one eye, to assert you cared about value. You cared to be solvent. But the point is that you're not a value. You're not the foundation. You have a presumption with showing your tits with no honest real estate in it, and your ass, and where else are we gonna go? Can we get a close-up of your vagina, Kim Kardashian? You have to escalate in that direction, okay? No differently than competing for no reason escalates towards Tao with war. So who's speaking here? You're supporting Tao with war, -T. And you're drawing attention from that, thanks Tom Ford for fashioning an H with hyphens for everybody, to have a fictional ID as well. So, missing framework. I have a framework. I engineered the time because I am the time. I make the time and I take the time. In having this framework, I have a parallax. So now we have 2 points of reference and we can see through it. Whether I stay on the fence or not, whether I stay on the fence or this goes anywhere, we have a parallax and we can see we're not actually exchanging honest information. So back to a go. Was there ever a go? As you know, I would say not unless you want to. So there's your choice. Your choice you've never had before. Your choice to get on my framework and fretwork, one, I've put a lot of effort out there for you to understand what you're getting into. Even. Do of. It is not a presumption. You don't get to stand doffed tone on me. You don't get to, you see me visually and presume that you are a part of my evaluate. Because clearly, one doffed stupid person did not contribute to my brain or my ability, and neither did Toft. Formally. So there's that. You haven't had a choice before. So it's not a given. And it's still not a given unless you want to. So let's talk about reason. You think you're being rational because you're not being emotional. Well, you're still standing doff and you're squatting on women as a universal value, doffed. Because y'all dealt with war, and that's part of your universal language to restore the law that's hyphenated to your hyphenated harbor, -d. Harbor, arbor, tree. Your paper money, me one eye, put some hyphens in that as well. What else? I've got notes to do. I'm going to try and catch up as best as I can. But I'm so, not exactly hungover. I'm just tired. The irony is I'm really not against Kim Kardashian. Once we have a baseline understanding of value and we're transacting, either you men are going to bring the goods or we women are going to put you in your place. Even understood. Dunder, sunder, understood. You know, while competition has no boundaries, spirit doesn't either. And you doffed can't permanently mark on me to get toffed. So those people that are marking on me on my videos, give me a real fucking name. You've got a fiction nail frame, okay? So let's start with real presence. If you're going to wield a tooth. N-K-N-I-T. Basically, what's happening here is the only thing that you can bring me is love. You can only bring me what I want. Anything, because I've done all the work. To B-E-G-O-T. To B-E-G, the example, O-T, overtime, as my ego. you can see the dynamic in what I'm doing. So I can be my EGOT, my ego in my example, over time, that I also toss, TOSS, parentheses, OT. You can see that. I'm creating a figure 8, okay? Kim Kardashian's doing the same thing with hyphens. Does she have a choice? Well, we'll see. Okay, but that's, I imagine that's your value of commerce. Being commercially viable is making that cycle, whether it's a figure 8 or a loop. You're making continuity and you're making a lap. A lap to the abuse. AB is away. A, B, go away and back from the same value. So for me, if you're existing as a hyphen, you're somewhat character disordered because you're not seeing that you're displacing real value for REEL hyphen value. So you're creating competition where inevitably someone's going to fall through the gaps. You know, I brought this up before. Let's take internet connection service. If we weren't competing, we would have a different lay of the land. Fairpoint at work would actually work. You know, me sussing the work of the polite people that work at Fairpoint because they're not sussing that their service doesn't work, and neither does their fictional image of their job or their fictional word of representation. And I call them on that, and they think I'm not polite because they brought the polite value, and they hang up on me. So it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, why are you talking at all? Why are you putting your picture out there, you know, as an image to cast? Toft is only bigot, BI-G-OT-. You know, you're not the value maker. Your frame is stupid, Mrs. At Fairpoint, it's stupid, and that's what you're standing for. Your politeness is your fucking defense because you have no value in near residence. Okay. The more you hedge to your politeness, the more you're simply illustrating to me you have no, you're being defensive because you have no honest value. So the women's framework obviously is not a given, okay, without hyphens. So that's one reason why I vigorously ascertain, you know, doffed, you don't get a stay. You never played, and you never paid. You never pat, or painted, or plated with love. Never did. Sorry. You never ate my value. And did something with it to endow. So I get my value back for presenting it some met how and ho, H-O. To be prow and prowweight, heaven, dole, and soul, and solid, ask you know. Ask you now know, Knowed. So I'm kind of liberated from the artificial G-glass ceiling of everyone else competing for no reason, defend. So there is that. I've still not made it a circle. I'm saying I'm not getting paid to do this, so I have to do it in my free time. And my free time sometimes is compounded by stupidity. Like, whoever your fictional name is on YouTube, can you please see the other fictional person before you and just surmise, yes, you fit daft, you fit stupid, and I've already been through this, so, you know, no one needs unique doftermanship here. Okay, bring the time. I've already brought the time. You have one thing to do, bring the time, even two. Even to be aware, ask you, AD, debt to be there, and debt to rep and reap, and reappear. Duh, the road. R-O-A-D. For me, for M, form each meal, ally, an ally, even, duh. I'm saying surgery went fine. I have to say that I really felt the staff at Mercy Hospital and everything, it was exceptional. I felt very taken care of, and that said, kind of feeling weighted down, is, you know, with anesthesia, etc., is something that's kind of new to me. And even more so, I mean, this year, endrometrial, polyp surgery, fibroid surgery, then hysterectomy. So you'd think, you know, 3 surgeries in 1 year, you think that I'm kind of used to it. This one's a little bit more involved, you know, organ removal as opposed to a polyp or a fibroid. However, even though the surgery and the hospital staff is exceptional, I don't really hate this it's not like I hate the downtime, but I'm kind of like, you know, when do I get back to being where I was without thinking about this? You know, how do I lay down? How do I get up? Take the stool softener. Take the aspirin. Take the milk of magnesia. Take the vitamin C. Take, what else have I got over there? Take the mega hydrate for my hydrogen. Let's see. Vitamin C helped me heal from the inside out. I was told that A and E might cause me to bleed, or, you know, maybe make your blood thinner. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but A and E were discouraged at this time. B, C, and D are okay. I guess I'm kind of just tired of feeling tired. But at the same time, I'm trying to be okay with it because I need to give into it to heal. I have to give into accommodating my body to feel good. And how am I going to get it to feel good is let it sleep. I imagine. You know, I'm trying to mix it up. You know, went out with the walk with Minnow. So we did our paperwork and stuff. And what else? You know, that's about it. keeping a little, down. Now I'm up. Now I'm having my vitamins or my medicine. Down, up. One of the things that was told to me at the hospital is being boring or bland is right where you want to be, medically speaking. In the hospital. So it honestly, I make that reference because it reminds me of Sandra Bland. You know, she wanted to be a school teacher, and she was pulled over by a police officer who said he was going to light her up, and threw her in jail. I don't even think he had cause for pulling her over. I can only imagine that she's like, why try? So didn't she hang herself there? She committed suicide. Suicide. That's a lead-in. So I found Yolanda Hadid, Lyme disease, made her think of committing suicide. LY-ME- and suicide, SU parentheses E hyphen I hyphen CIDE. Put your hyphens in that. You're creating the same container there too. You may think, oh, am I making this up? Well, the point is, we don't have another parallax, honestly, to look through. So as far as cancer goes, we may want to start looking at the C answer, in theory, at the very least. The secret message of suicide, as I laid it out and spelled it, is that EI, SU parentheses E, I, that's egg in German, EI. EG is your example, gave. It is somewhat an irony that I'm giving the example EGGAVE ID, and I do not have a uterus. Did it have to come to this? I don't know. Had I got my example back, would I be bleeding so much that I have to remove my uterus? I don't know. I think there's a lot more to our meta than our commercial marketplace for no reason that takes place and pace, hyphenated, allows us to look into. To get a taste, to get a point toft review. A tear, point tofta, tear review, point toft affair, and foot to tear are VI. Vi is rise to the challenge. EWEAD. Dow with where, Dow with cared, Dow with see aired. AD. We're not there. If we're not there formally, we're not anywhere.